Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kelly Jones, and I am a future educational counselor. And this is a presentation about anxiety. And I really appreciate the opportunity to take just a few minutes of your time in the faculty meeting here to share with you some thoughts about anxiety. First, let me start by asking you, have you ever felt stressed, nervous, scared, angry, worried, depressed, sad, confused? Well, guess what? You are not alone. Every 1 in 13 people worldwide are affected by anxiety. And then 32% of youth aged 13 to 18 experience some form of anxiety in their lifetime. The good news is anxiety disorders are highly treatable. So let's talk about what is anxiety. It's an emotional reaction characterized by feelings of tension, worry thoughts, physical changes that can be like your blood pressure or rapid heartbeat. And people with anxiety disorders usually have recurring intrusive thoughts or concerns. They just can't shut them out. And those worries just won't let go. They may avoid certain situations out of worry because they know that they aren't going to feel comfortable and they could have a panic attack. They could fall down. They start really worrying. And they can also have physical symptoms like sweating, trembling, dizziness. They can also have a lack of responsiveness or an inability to perform independently. They might not be able to actually do anything. They might have excessive concerns about evaluations. Oh my gosh, how am I doing on this project? Often they're self-critical and they have self-defeating attitudes. They just can't give themselves a break. So, is it stress or is it anxiety? Let's take a look at some differences. Similarities: both stress and anxiety can lead to sleeplessness. No sleep at night, that is just not a good thing for any of us. And I'm sure we have all been there at some point. And if it affects us, it can create exhaustion. There can be an excessive amount of worry about just about everything. An inability to focus. They can't concentrate. They can be easily frustrated or very quick to anger and just their temper flares and they just can't help it. They can have, bad headaches or, tense muscles, increased heart rate. But let's talk about the differences. For stress, it's the body's short-term reaction to a threat. It's that fight or flight it's sensation that we've got going on in our bodies that can usually calm down once the stressor is over. Anxiety is a different beast all on its own. It interferes with the learning process and with forming relationships with others. It's triggered by stress, and it can even continue when that triggering stressful event is over. And most anxiety disorders, well, it's the most common mental disorder out there. So we've talked about a couple of things, but what are some of the signs of anxiety? It can affect us and our students physically, emotionally, in our thinking, and in our behavior. So physically, they can have stomach issues. We see a lot of that. Oh, my stomach doesn't feel so good. I need to see the nurse. Difficulty sleeping. They can have some numbness or tingling. Emotionally, they can be hypersensitive to what's going on and the environment around them. They often feel hopeless. They're irritable and cranky. They can also be just worry just consumes them. In their thinking, they can't concentrate. You can be teaching them something in a lesson in the class, and they just cannot focus on what you're talking about. They have catastrophic thinking that just the world is going to end if I don't get this project done. Just everything becomes an all or nothing situation. And then, of course, they can have the racing thoughts. When you have so many racing thoughts, you don't have the ability to concentrate on something else. And in their behavior, a lot of negative self-talk. Some can be fidgety or restless, overreacting, and they could seek reassurance from others. They need that feedback back constantly on how they're doing. So we have here our wonderful wellness center at the school here at Wood Creek. And just to give you an idea, we looked back at the number of students, the average number of students per day in 2020 with COVID, and in 2021. Now we still have COVID, but all the students are here. In 2020, it was an average of 27 students a day that came in to our wellness center for anxiety-related concerns. Now you compare that with 2021, it has jumped to an average of 40 students a day that are struggling with anxiety and come in. Now that's just who comes in to the wellness center. Who knows how many more are out amongst our students that are not brave enough or don't know about our wellness center. Now, just since this school year has started, in August, which was only 2 weeks long, we had 305 students come in with anxiety-related issues. In September, that number, it was a full month, 710 students came in. And in October, we're only two weeks in, 313 students have come in for anxiety concerns. That's a lot of students. How can you teachers help? First, don't judge them. Don't tell them how they're feeling, and they don't need to be feeling anxious. That's not going to help. You need to show empathy. Another thing, you can have a box of those fidget toys of different sorts just to help them kind of focus that fidgetiness and restlessness. I know real estate in a classroom is very valuable, but maybe you could create a little safe corner where they can go and just have a moment of peace when they need that moment to regain their composure. Or you can let them step outside. Let them take their mask off and just breathe for a moment, with the understanding they don't get to go any farther than right outside the classroom door. Also, take a moment to read the students' body language. If they are just a bundle of tightness and just not looking like they want anybody to come near them, don't get right in their space. That is going to make them feel threatened and make the anxiety worse. You can meet the student where they are. Now, what do I mean by that? If a student is needing help and looks like they're having some problems, don't yell at them across the room, "Hey, Johnny, you look like you need some help. You gotten some anxiety?" Go up to them, keeping their bubble around them, and meet them where they are and ask them. You can also teach mindfulness techniques, especially when it comes to test taking. That would be huge to help them. We have a lot of resources. Of course, we have our wellness center, that we have social workers, we have a community liaison, we have our resource officer, we have our school counselors, school psychologists, and our administration is a great support. And when we all work together, we can really help our students. And lastly, I really want you to remember, we are all in this together, and the teachers are going through so much, just like the students are. And like on an airplane, when they talk about the oxygen mask coming down and you need to put it on yourself first before you help somebody out because you don't want to pass out, please take care of yourself. Take that time for self-care. Do some meditation. Come to one of our Wellness Wednesdays and do yoga. Take that time to take care of you so that you can help take care of our students. Thank you again for letting me come in today. I really appreciate it. I know how precious your time is, but I also know how important it is that we help our students. And especially with anxiety, there's so much building up. And with the holidays coming, more anxiety will be building up with that and how things are going to work and who's going to be able to help them. And we need to watch out for them. Thank you.